What's up? You saw the title of the video already. How am I able to make my Facebook ad spend over $1,000 a day, each creative, consistently? The focus in this video is going to be on this part, the consistency. Your creatives, after watching this video, if implemented correctly, are never going to be the reason why your stuff fails. So if you've ever tested creatives on any ad platform, you know that the hook is the most important part of the entire ad. So whereas the hook is only like this part, this little fraction of the ad, it actually contributes to the majority of the success. Now, when it comes to creatives, you either have a volume problem or a quality problem. And today I'm going to actually tell you only about the quality problem because, again, volume problem would probably just have to tell you to test more, right? We don't want to do that. Obviously, that's clear, that's easy, that's the basics, that's the standard. So today we're actually going to fix the quality problem. So there's a very simple process of how I write hooks in the first place. How I write hooks is I sit down and I write 5 hooks. Obviously, picking an angle and ad concept before that, and then writing 5 hooks for that specific ad concept. And then what I do is I cross out 4 of them and I just pick one. So let's say hook 4 is the best one that I think I like the most. Now what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm just going to write 5 more hooks that are similar to hook 4. And then once again, I'm going to cross out 4 and I'm only going to double down on one. So let's say here, for example, I like the first one the most, right? And then I usually do this one more time at least so that I have a process of doing this 3 times. So I'm just going to go ahead and write 5 more hooks, which are now similar to hook 4.1, right? So it's very specific now and the differences are going to be minor. So after I've written down 5 new hooks, I'm just going to pick one of them. Let's say it's the last one. And then I have the actual hook that I'm going to go with. Now this process that you see right here, I'm going to do this as many times, as many video ads I want, right? So if I want 10 video ads, I'm going to do this whole process of writing in total, it's 15 hooks, 10 different times. So this is really the quality that you need to put in. And trust me, if you're not putting in this work, your competitors are doing it for you and they're stealing it. And so when it comes to then testing them, I don't make video ads immediately. I'm going to show you a very, very simple process of how you can test so many different hooks for such a low budget, right? And actually make a lot of money with them in the long run, increase your hit rate, right? So whenever I struggle with hit rates with any product, what I do is I just run a normal 1x1 image ad. You know, write your hook in here. And then what we're going to do is just run this as an image ad. Now with this process, these are first of all super simple to set up. This is just a white background with black text on it, and then you turn them off after a couple of dollars to spend each. Okay, so let all of these spend a couple dollars. This is not there to get any sales. This is not there to make you any profits. However, you're gonna realize which ones have the highest CTR, and that's what you look for. We want to look for the ads which have the highest CTR, and keep in mind, this is about volume. Okay, so you need to put in a lot of volume into this. You can test 100 different hooks like this, and it's very quick and it's very cheap to do. Okay, so you're going to realize maybe just a couple of those 100, maybe just one out of those 100, which clearly outperforms every other ad in your image ad format right here. And you just double down on the one which has the highest click-through rate, and then you start turning it into visual ads. And then what you're going to do is something which is called visual hook testing. Now, visual hook testing is essentially just taking a line of text, a line of copy that you've written for your hook, maybe even tested already with this process we just talked about, and just putting as many different clips in front of it as possible. And this is the process of how you test really high quality ads, right? Because it's not just about making 10 ads with 11 labs and then testing them. It's actually a process behind it. And this is the problem. This is the process that I've personally been using that works exceptionally well again and again for every single product that you sell. It doesn't even matter if it's a problem solver or not, right? It doesn't matter at all. You're going to realize which hooks are working super well by first of all writing them, and this is going to improve your copywriting skills. Then you test a bunch of them and form just a white image ad with black text on it, and then you can see which one has the highest click-through rate, and then you test a bunch of visual clips on that specific text hook. And then what you're going to realize is your hit rates are going to skyrocket. Now, one thing which you got to realize is the longer your ads are, the longer your video ads are in total, the more trust you actually gain from more unaware prospects. And this is really powerful. That's why you see a lot of ads in the ads library like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, some of them 30 minutes long. This is called a VSL ad, a video sales letter ad. And what's crazy is even though a 30-minute video, let's say 10-minute for an example, let's say this is 10 minutes, only this very small fraction of it, which is going to be the hook, is still the most important one, and still going to make or break your success. So if you want to make a very long ad to gain a lot of trust from your prospects, right? And that's a very smart way to do that. What I would do is I'd make all this right here, this section, the whole body and the call to action one time, and then I would use the exact process we just talked about, this 3-step process right here, to make 10, 20, 30 different hook variations, and you're going to have at the end of the day 20, 30 different variations of a 10-minute ad. And that is an insane volume. And so this is something which you can directly implement. Now, this is specifically something which is going to work very well for problem-solving products. Obviously, if you sell clothing, if you sell a very gimmicky product, it's not going to really do well. You don't need a 10-minute ad for that. You don't need to change any belief. People either like the design or not. However, especially when there's something which is, needs a little bit more explanation and people are kind of unaware of the problem or the solution of it that you solve, then obviously you need more time. And you can imagine it like this: the more time people spend, the more content they consume before they actually get presented the offer, right? The higher the chance that they actually will convert, and also the more money they will spend, because you're essentially disqualifying a bunch of people. This is exactly what I talked about in the last video. What you do is you disqualify a bunch of those people, but the ones that do click through are going to be much higher quality customers, because they're not only going to convert much higher, right, because they actually do need to solve that problem that you solve, but also they're going to actually be ready to invest much more money into solving that problem of theirs, right? All right, so let's actually go ahead and do this live, because I feel like obviously the theory behind it is important, but actually seeing how it's done or how I do it kind of is the actual valuable part of this video. So definitely go ahead and keep watching. Now, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing this for this specific product. This is a anti-snoring mouthpiece. Why this product? I'm not selling this. This is not my store. I just found it in one of the last couple live product research videos, and I thought this was a really good one. They're hardcore scaling it. There's a lot of sales demand for this specific product. First of all, I'm going to do the hook writing process, and then I'm actually going to show you how to make these 1-by-1 image ads so you could test a bunch of different hooks and actually see which ones are going to work for you. All right, so let's just start. All right, so obviously I've written these hooks now without doing a lot of marketing research for this product. So before doing that, obviously I would look at what kind of angles do really well, who's my customer avatar, all that kind of stuff. But just for just showing you how I do this, the angle that I picked is going to be basically your wife that buys that for the husband, right? And anti-snoring kind of thing. So I think this is an angle that probably will do super well for this product specifically. And by looking at these 5 hooks that I've written here, obviously with no research, you're obviously going to do this with a lot of research beforehand before actually starting to write your hooks. But I honestly like the majority of these, to be honest with you. I mean, this one would probably be a little bit better for a VSL type of ad. So I'm going to go with the 4 reasons why. And obviously depends on how long you want to make your ad or how many reasons why you want to do. But this is especially I kind of like how I did the never, the annoying part. So what I'm going to do now is just write 5 more, which are similar to this one, right? So let's actually go ahead and do it, right? Okay, so now I've written 5 more. What I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna pick 2 of these because I think I really do like a couple of these, and so that I'm gonna just make 3 image ads so that I really can show you how I usually do this process of testing hooks when I actually test creative. So what I really like is I think this one's funny. And obviously you gotta kind of make this not get banned on your ad account, so you might do a couple tweaks in that. But I do like this very short, very aggressive, very shocking hook, 4 ways to shut up your husband in his sleep. I think it's interesting. I think I fixed my sleep. I don't think this is really hard enough, shocking enough. This is also pretty interesting. I'm happy I came up with this. 4 reasons why I almost divorced my husband. It's funny. But did you know that your husband will never? I think this one's also something which will do pretty well. Because did you know type of hooks also typically work very well for me. So now we're in Canva and I'm just going to make a new design. So how do I usually do this? You just click on text, just add a random text into your thing, and then just put your hook into it. So you're just going to do 4 reasons why, boom, boom, boom. That's literally it. Okay. You're just going to make it like this. Boom. You're just going to send traffic to your store. Obviously, no one's going to buy from this stupid image ad. However, what's going to happen is if you make 100 of these and then test all of them, some of them will outperform every other one with the click-through rate. And then all you got to do is just double down on them, turn these, like the ones that the top performers, into actual video ads by sourcing content, all that kind of stuff. We're just obviously just repurposing content that's already out there, and then it's just literally just going to work, right? So let's actually take a look at how I would then do this. If let's say you don't want to get UGC, let's say this is the top performing hook. How do you turn this into a video ad? So usually I use 11 Labs for that. Let's actually look at some voices.
There is no greater harm.
The years teach much which the days never know.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Yeah, maybe this one.
4 reasons why your husband will never stop annoying you in your sleep.
Yeah, probably you could play around with a bunch of different voices too when it comes to testing, and especially visuals, right? So this is pretty much the process. I want to say thank you for giving me your most important assets, which are your time and your attention. Definitely go ahead and implement this into your business right now, because all the videos that I make, they're not giving you anything. I promise you, they're not doing anything productive. It's not productive watching these if you don't go ahead and then actually apply what I tell you in this video. And so yeah, thanks you guys for watching. Thank you guys again for giving me your time, and I wish you a beautiful day.